So now I'm going to take you through the more extensive version of range plan. And so this is more in line with what an industry standard range plan would look like. It's got way more detail to it. And so I'm just going to take you through as much of it as I can, and just hopefully you learn quite a bit from this. So here we go. Just going to get that up. Right. And here we go. Yeah, so obviously there's loads more styles on this, but what's more important is the columns. We can see a lot of columns here, which all mean something very important. And so let's just deep dive into it. We start off with your product name and color. So obviously we just want to know what each style means, well, what each style is called rather, and its color. Again, we go down to your product and your design color as separate columns. And then for the purpose of VLOOKUPs, we do conglomerate the name and color into one. Obviously, that doesn't really matter. We'll just move along. So sometimes there'll be a design color and then a display color. So what we've got here is, let me move along so you can see. What you can see here is we've got a column that says design color and then a column that says display color. And what that basically is your design color is what the designers know that color to be, and sometimes that doesn't match in line with what front end will call that color for sale. So when somebody's buying it, what it will show online is just navy or dark navy, but for the design color, usually in the process of dealing with supply chain or just back-end manufacturing, they've called it something else. It's known as royal blue, sky captain. But when you buy that, you will buy it as navy, and that just simplifies it for the front end, the customer. Okay, and then you would have your department, collection and category, which is pretty similar to what we had in the basic range plan. Again, you want to have that organization in terms of where everything sits, which category is which. And then we would have your price architecture, which is also known as your good, better, best. So what that is basically is this one of our top line prices? Is this our mid-range prices? Is this like just okay? And all of these are bestsellers, by the way. This is based on your pricing architecture from bestsellers of last year or history, but we're just wanting to ascertain what is the price architecture for each style. This just keeps everything in check and more identifiable, let's say, when we're really trying to organize the range. We have seasonality as well. Seasonality is known as whether something is continuity or is it seasonal. Is this something that's only going to come in once in a while? For example, we can go back to the basic range plan actually, which will help. Because if we look at something like this, your asymmetric ruffle blouse in pink, that's something that would more so be seasonality. But something like your staple, this shirt, this would be a continuity line. And what a continuity line is something that will go through all throughout the year. We will keep restocking continuity, whether it's autumn, winter, whether it's summer. We will keep stocking a continuity line, and it will still have to sit in a range plan that's called autumn, winter 23 or all of that kind of stuff. But we just have to identify its continuity. That's the way we can lift it out of last year's range plan and plonk it into the next range plan. But then a seasonality style will be recreated for the new season. Then we have small collections. Sometimes there are mini ranges that happen within a range, and so that's what's happening here. We've got some outdoor lifestyle happening within your menswear range plan. Sometimes this is like a lot of like feature brands would do this, or you will have your fast fashion brands who will feature somebody and things like that. That would be small collection that happens within, and so that's identified there. Then we have newness, which is again essentially whether it's continuity or not, new or continuity style. So that's what that would be. Then over here we have your option count. What your option count is how many options per style is there. So you will have, for example, a coat, but then you will have it in different colors. That means there's 2 options of that product. Again, if it varies in terms of, for example, if you have things like petite and plus size version of that product, it's one product, but there's different options of it. So that's your option count there. You have SKU count, which is a SKU is a stock keeping unit, and that is basically how many of that option are we buying. So in, for example, blue, how many blues are we buying? That's your SKU count. And then we have supplier. So supplier was very similar to your basic range plan. We know that's just where we're going to source this product from, who's making it. Then you have your target cost, which is essentially your selling price. How much are we, your cost price. So how much is it going to cost us to make this product? And so because this is an extensive range plan, this is more in line with what the industry standard is. Obviously, things go in stages, and so why we've got target costs here is because we're still negotiating with the supplier. We hope to make it at this price, because then that will mean that it's a target margin of what we've got here, 66%. But we are yet to confirm this with the supplier, and so we have an extra column just for our sake, and then for what's actually the reality that ends up happening. So then after that, you have your target margin, you have your RRP, which is now selling price. So we hope to sell this at £425, and we hope it only costs us £120, which will leave us at a 66% margin. So we also have landed costs and things like that. So your current landed cost and your current landed cost flat are all, if you were to add the cost of also getting it in. So landed is how much does it cost us in our possession today, when it's in our what we call DC, distribution center, or warehouse. If it's in our warehouse now, how much does it cost us to make it and to ship it here and everything else included, as opposed to just your cost of making it full stop. So there's different ways of calculating and cutting and chopping and changing things when we're looking at a range plan extensively, because then there'll be teams that are specifically going to report on your cost only, or your landed cost, or freight, all of those kinds of things. So yeah, this just touches upon that. We've got your actual margin. So now we can see this is the margin that actually did get negotiated and things like that. So what I'll do here is, so we've also got checked difference, so what's the difference between what we hoped for and what our actual was. A few of these are repeated out, and so I'll just keep going along. We have our total line list buy units. And so what we have now here is your total line list buy units. And so as we can see here, we've got 730 units to buy. What this column actually is not particularly how many we're going to buy. This looks like it's a lookup into into an open to buy sheet. So there are just so many sheets in in our work that we do. And one of the sheets we have is an open to buy sheet. What that does is calculate how much money is left that we can rebuy. So for example, like I explained, we have some continuity lines. Those are free flowing into the company constantly. Even some seasonality, it will still go in drops. You won't just buy a whole bulk of your style and then dump it in your warehouse. You will have it delivered in phases. And so we have open to buy. That calculates how many we can now go back and remake and restock and all of that. And this is, if we look at it's a formula. Yeah, this is a formula. So it's taken away how many retail buy units versus I think what is either left in the warehouse. So that's what this is. The ones that say 0, obviously there's nothing left to order in of that. But for these, we still have some remaining. So that's what that is. Again, an industry range plan will always have so many lookups. Like it's crazy. Like it will look up to a delivery schedule. It will look up to a critical path. It will look up to your OTB sheet. It will look up to there's also option plan or category plan, which is prior to your range plan, because it's holding everything together, your range plan. It really, really is. That's why it's called the fashion Bible per se, because it's telling the story of where everything is. So yeah, this will definitely be looking up to your OTB. Then we have obviously your retail buy units, your retail forecast, opening stock. So this is forecasting. Again, yeah, you can see there's a formula here. This is looking up to your stock. Your opening stock, so it's the forecast. That would be looking up to a WYSI then. Yeah, it will also look up to a WYSI. A WYSI is your weekly sales, stock and intake sheet. That, by the way, all of these sheets that I'm mentioning along the way, I have worked on them. Obviously, I have to remake mock versions of them. But I also have the industry extensive version, also a mock, but it's got everything there, which I will share along the way. Like I will get to it, I promise. So that will be looking up to a WYSI. And then we've got your, again, your retail buy at your different costs. Then you've got your RRP value, which is obviously your retail selling price value of the line for all the units, not per unit. So that's that. Then we're coming to the total side of the range plan. Now you can start to recognize the total side, you see, from what we saw in the basic range plan. This is now retail total units and retail buy units and all of that. This is your sell-through section. This is your sell-through section. And sell-through is essentially your total sales divided by, let's go back, divided by your total units. So your sell-through is your total sales divided by your total units. And this tells us how much we've sold through by unit. Sometimes it can be by sales money-wise. Do we calculate it by money-wise? No. It's only calculated by units. So we can see we've sold through 98%. Which is really good. And then that also tells you we need to go back and buy more. Or if we're not planning on buying more, just knowing that this was a bestseller. This did really, really well for us. Then we've got your full price sales mix. Your full price sales mix is essentially, it's telling us, what's it said? How many units are to be sold full price. And so sometimes something's coming in and it's going to sale, it's being marked down, and this will look up to, or it could look up to, a sales line list. Again, there's so many sheets. Sales line list. I reckon this column would look up to, because we want to know the trading stance. We want to know, is this style currently in sale or is it still full price? And that would just help us know its performance. Then we have promo sales mix. So that's the opposite of your full price sales mix, because is this in promotion? No. Then we have markdown as well. So promotion is different to markdown. They're both sales, but promotional is promotional. It's only going to happen for a certain amount of time, and then that style will go back to full price. A markdown sale is when it's been marked down, it's permanent, it's not coming back. We're happy to write it off if the sale amount that I've gone on to sale still don't sell. We're happy to write it off. It's what it is, because we need to move ahead in the season. So that's that. Then we've got your full price sales units. So that's just all of that instead of percentage wise in units. Your promo sales units, your markdown sales units, and your total sales units. Then weeks on sale. So again, this is another lookup. We will know how many weeks something has been on sale, according to, what sheet would that look up to? We'll know how many weeks on sale something's been. It won't be the critical path. Probably the delivery tracker. But yes, this column would be looking up to your delivery tracker or something of the like that would indicate from at what point this style landed into stores and when did it start selling and how long has it been selling. It's not weeks on sale as in how long it's been on sale, but how long it's been selling, period, from full price onwards, because when something now starts aging on the shelf is when we decide it needs to go into sale, like either promotional or markdown. So we keep track of that here on the range plan as well. And so what you're beginning to understand is that the range plan is a very much alive sheet. It's not just stuck and frozen in one point in time. It really is showing us up-to-date information. And obviously the way it's able to do that is because it is looking up to other things. And obviously this is also quite this is one way of doing it per se. Like, many companies have now upgraded to really robust ERP systems and things that are all automatic, and it looks up in a system and things, but the principles are all the same. When you log into that system, it will all be aligned in this fashion. It's just it's up-to-date information really that we are looking at. It's what I'm trying to say is that it's not frozen in time. We don't just plonk lots of cells in a sheet and then walk away from it. It's constant. Yeah. So weeks on sale here. Then we have full price rate of sale and total rate of sale. Your rate of sale is fun. Another formula. We've got your total sales units divided by your weeks on sale. That will tell us our rate of sale. And then we have our full price sell through. Again, that's your sell through rate. How much have we sold through? This is just a check column. So after the weeks on sale section, we have the full price rate of sale. That's what that is. And your rate of sale is another formula, which is essentially your it is your units divided by your weeks on sale. So however many units you have, you divide them by how long they've been on sale, and that would give you your rate of sale. And what you want is your rate of sale to be as high as possible, because obviously that means you're selling more per week. That's another indicator of how well something is doing. It's just another way of, breaking down performance, essentially. And then that's your total rate of sales. That would include your promotional rate of sale and your markdown rate of sale. And then your full price sell through, again, is another marker of performance, which we've gone over. That's just your sell through rate. And then that's a check column. So then you have your full price percentage off, and then promotion and markdown percentage off. So this is another feed that would come from your sales line list, because it's telling you the current trading stance of full price, promotion and markdown. So yeah. Then we have your total reduction percentage off. That's everything, including full price, promotional and markdown. You put it all together to get an idea of your reduction of everything. So what we have now is we have your full price net sales value reduction. And so this is the same as your reduction percentage, but it's just showing it to you in your sales value, which is cash. And then the same for no reduction in cash. What we also have is promo sales value, reduction and no reduction as well. So this is the promotional version of that. And then you have the same for your markdowns as well. So your total sales value is here, and that's showing you all of these columns rolled up would be your total sales value, and then the same for no reduction is all of those no reduction rolled up. This section over here is your warehouse units. That's how many units are sitting in the warehouse. And so that would be a feed from, I think, let's say, either the delivery tracker or I'd say the delivery tracker. This is a feed from the delivery tracker or intake sheet, whatever your company calls it. But essentially, the sheet that shows how many stocks are sitting in what we call DC, the distribution center, or any system that feeds that information. Yeah, is what this column will be pulling from. And then the warehouse buy at cost. So how much does it cost us, the amount that's sitting in the warehouse? And then how much is the selling value of what's sitting in the warehouse. So we look at the value of it in units, in cost price, and in selling price, so we can know what we're sitting on. That's another way of indicating performance. Yeah. There's always going to be a comment section in any range plan. There'll just always be some notes of something. Nothing's ever a straight line. There's always a style that's approved but not approved, a style that's cancelled but we're still hanging on to it. Or, for example, this comment says dropped from autumn 23, and the lightweight breathable will replace. Things like that always happen. New design, got the product update to autumn winter 23 rephase, so that's just for whoever it's useful to be there. We also have your stretch lines, your OTB. So these are things that, again, like what I mentioned earlier with your continuity, the things that are really, moving along, or they're doing better than what we had thought. So maybe now it's no longer going to be just for this season, it's going to move into the next, and things like that. We have your long lead time fabric. That needs to be put into your range plan because we want to know what styles have longer lead times, which the styles that need more time to be made. So those would be put here. Obviously, these have been removed because this, I'm just making a template here. But essentially, this would look up to, you would have a sheet or a system that has compiled all of the lead times for all of your different suppliers or all of your different fabrics, and that would feed into your range plan, and it would also feed into your critical path. So that's what would be indicated here. And then we have our launch month. This would be fed from your, what would we call it? Like the PR sheet. There would be it's not called the PR sheet. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. But essentially, there will always be, yes, promotional calendar. That's it. It would be the calendar, let's say, or more so a chart from PR, marketing, also visual merchandising and online merchandisers. That side of the company would keep hold of launch calendars and know when everything is launching. That would feed into this, or this would feed into that, whichever way. So that we can know when that style needs to be in the shops, basically. Your availability, so how long is that going to be in for? You have your repeat lead times. Again, that would feed from your supplier side of your catalog. Basically, you would know which supplier takes how long to do what. The lead time for their initial making it and the lead time for the repeat is usually shorter for the repeat, so that's why there'd be an extra column for that. And then a supplier will always have an MOQ. An MOQ is a minimum order quantity, and that's just the minimum amount of units you need to make of any style in order to have them make it, essentially. They're not going to make you two pieces of something, and that's per style, per option. So there'll be an MOQ for it in like each color. And then this has been removed. This is, yeah, these are kind of interim columns that have been, tampered with. So I've not got much information on what these would be indicating. Stock at cost into markdown. Basically the stock that's going to go into markdown, but times by its cost price is what that would be. And then this section here is just how much is going to go into international. So like I did mention with the basic range plan, there'll be some put aside for your franchises overseas in other stores. That depends if this is a retailer that has those, you know. If it does, then some units will be put aside to go to them. Some retailers would even make some specifically just for the franchises. For example, if you work in a retailer that has a franchise in, for example, UAE, where the culture is very, very different from here, or different from a brand that's, for example, a swimwear brand, there would be pieces that would be made much more different for the UAE section. So sometimes it will be completely different ranges made just for them. Or if there is just certain cultural symbols, like if you have crosses and things like that on your clothing, that would be completely tailor-made differently for a country that, you know, wasn't observing that religion or anything. So that's that. And then we have the percentage of stock going there and all of that. And that looks like that's basically it for this range plan. It's a lot. And please let me know if you have any questions, if anything doesn't make sense or anything. But that's the overall gist. That gives you a bit more of insight into, you know, an industry range plan. You've had quite a good look at the broad range of things that there are to consider for an industry standard range plan. It's a lot, which is why it takes a whole team to look at this and get through it. And I'd be interested to know your thoughts. So thank you so much for watching, making it through to the end with me, and take care.